Hello, everyone. My name's James. Welcome to another Planet FPL clash of the Correspondents, and it's Everton versus Crystal Palace on this COTC. Firstly, let me introduce you to our Everton correspondent, Sean Norton, who at the time of recording is still stewing about last night's drop points against West Ham United. How are you, Sean?
I'm okay, thanks, James. Hope you are too, mate, after your draw.
Yeah, we was equally as shite as you were. We'll get there. And introducing our Crystal Palace correspondent who's dreaming about Premier League title glory, it's Ruaidhri McLaughlin-Dowd. How are you, mate?
Better than both of you, I think.
Well, actually, Sean was very keen to say thank you for beating Liverpool at the weekend. I'd like to point out, Sean, what went wrong against West Ham then?
Um, well, a few things, but we just seem to be very easy to sort of play against. I think and predict what we're going to do. It's all just sort of shuffle the ball to Grealish or Ndiaye and to get doubled up on, and we haven't really got much of a clue what to do after that because the fullbacks aren't proper fullbacks, so they don't overlap. We don't seem to really utilise the centre of the pitch very much. So just think we're very, very easy to play against. And yeah, I wonder where the goals are going to come from. Both centre forwards don't really offer a great deal. Beto's technically poor. Barry isn't getting too many opportunities, and when he does get on, it all looks like it's all too fast and furious for him. So yeah, it's a bit concerning the minute after a decent start to the season.
So my read on that is, and I think most people's will be, creativity is an issue and scoring goals is going to be an issue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think we've really moved the needle very much from last season with the business that we've done in the summer. I don't think it really addressed the majority of the issues that we had in the team.
We were a little unfortunate though, in the sense they changed their manager, right? And you're walking into,
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
to say a different setup, but just a different vibe for West Ham, right? They were probably there for the taking if Potter was still there.
Well, you'd like to, you'd like to think so, but I mean, I remember we played Potter's West Ham towards the back end of last year at Goodison in one of the final few games, and we weren't we weren't very good against this West Ham team, and didn't really look like breaking them down. We got a goal through Jake O'Brien in stoppage time, but we toiled through that. So I mean, yeah, I'd have obviously rather Potter was still there, but I still didn't have great confidence that we'd get the 3 points. Even if he was there, and so as soon as Nuno goes in, they sort of went to the game thinking, well, they're just going to sit in and they're going to frustrate. They're going to try and hit us on the counter attack. Well, to be fair to them, they were a lot better than that, and they've got some really good footballers. So you can sort of see why they got rid of Potter because definitely think they were underperforming. Um, that youth is a wonderful, wonderful player.
He's one
He's
hell of an
really good.
athlete, isn't he? And actually,
Yeah,
unlike most players who are like him, who obviously have that raw kind of power, like when he sprints, it looks like a
yeah,
proper 100-meter sprinter. His actual crossing ability is sensational as well.
yeah, yeah. It reminded me of the quality across Lucas Dean used to put in for us when he played. Um, him and Somerville, I just thought they were brilliant. So, I was with my mate at the match, and it was quite an even game. If you look at the stats and everything, I think there was only like one big chance each side created, and the XG was quite similar in both halves for both teams. But you just felt like they carried so much more threat because you know that Bowen doesn't have to be involved. One good ball and he's in, which proved to be the case. But that Somerville, oh my days, one of the
It's terrific.
fastest players I think I've ever seen live. He was absolutely rapid. Him and Juve just they carried loads of threat. So it always felt like West Ham were gonna get at least a goal, and I think in the end I was sort of grateful for the point because I think they could have gone on and won the game. They looked the more likely from what I was watching.
In the middle of the second half, they were the better side.
Yeah,
But other
yeah,
than that, I think you probably were in control for the majority of the rest. Certainly in the first half, I felt. We'll get more from Suj on West Ham on the weekend or on Friday. I'm guessing, though, Sean, if I'd have said to you 6 games in, you'd be ninth, you probably would have taken it. 1-2, drawn two, lost two. It's right down the middle, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, just a bit after that. Like I say, after the August, it all looked like Brighton. Brighton are a good team. We beat them 2-0. Slightly fortunate. They had some really good chances they didn't put away. But we looked good. I thought we looked good. It was encouraging. And then against Wolves, we could have scored, say, 4, 5, 6 goals. We looked really good. And then you think, oh, I can see how this is coming together. Grealish and Ndiaye on the right, Dewsbury all in the middle. This is going to be so much more threatening than what we had last season. But it just looks like that was because Wolves were particularly poor. Because we toiled against Villa, rubbish in the derby in the first half in particular. And then, of course, the kick, the real kicker was going to Wolves in the cup and just sort of giving the game away. And Moyes put out a really,
You were pissed off
it
about
was
that,
really,
weren't you?
really poor. He sort of mentioned about like Wolves made 9 changes. Well, I don't really give a shit what Wolves do, to be honest. You know what I mean? It was like, we haven't won anything for 30 years. Go and just play. Yeah, make maybe 1 or 2 changes. We'll just go and play the same team virtually that beat them and look good against them and get through to the next round of the cup. But he put a load of players in that have hardly had any minutes. And
Yeah, I think that there's certain teams you could completely understand with the short turnarounds, but you had 6 days from Wolves to West Ham. And
yeah,
also, I think one of the striking things from the game on Monday night was that you only made 2 substitutions. So he obviously doesn't have that much faith in the rest of the squad anyway.
exactly. It's just a head. It's a real head scratcher, and it was a real. He's done. He hasn't done much wrong since he come in, and he's had like almost full fan support. But it was a big red flag. It annoyed a lot of people. Myself in particular, but it really does just put a big massive question mark over what we're trying to do and what the aims are for the season. I mean, some of the signings are just head scratches. That, like I say, I have to watch Juve. We've been crying out for a left back for years who can attack, and then they get you for about 15 million quid. We go and sign as new. By all accounts, he's not going to get a look in because they've already seemed to have decided, he's nowhere near ready for the Premier League. So, it's like, why are we signing someone like that? It's not like you understand it if it's like a Chelsea big squad, loan someone out, maybe they're ready in a few years, make a bit of money off them. But we need someone that can start as a left back, like like I say, like Diouf type. And it's a very thin squad. We've got a very thin squad, and 1 or 2, injuries here and there, and it just causes massive reshuffles, and you're putting square pegs in round holes all over the place.
Yeah, I felt O'Brien really struggled on Monday night as well,
Yeah.
but I do think that was a consequence of playing against Diouf and Somerville was not easy. Yeah, I think most of us most weeks, Sean can know what your 11 is going to be. Near enough at the moment. Rory, you must be delighted with what's going on, mate.
Yeah, very happy. Obviously, it's a good result. And then the other 3 wins, 3 draws, unbeaten in 18 in all competitions, which includes away at Anfield, away at Stamford Bridge, away at the Emirates, beating 2 Champions League teams at Wembley, and then yeah, it's been incredible. But I was going to say, I was thinking we haven't necessarily started too well ourselves, apart from the second half against Villa and the first half against Liverpool. Like looking at us play, I didn't feel like we were too fantastic. I mean, I think Suj had probably the right take on us after the West Ham game. We didn't look too sharp, and we got to play Potter's uh, West Ham, but we had a few injuries as well for that and the Sunderland game. So that's going to be the main thing for us is how we deal with Europe, I guess. But we've played 4 of last season's top 7 already. So, but, I mean, it's going well in terms of the results, and I think it's working in terms of everyone knows the system. We've just got to integrate some of the new players in the squad and try and ensure we have enough of the depth up to speed to compete on a couple of fronts at once.
What's a good league season now? Remove the cups from the mind for the moment. What's a good league season?
If we didn't have Europe, I'd be disappointed if we didn't get top 7.
See, he couldn't do it. He couldn't remove the cup, Sean. He couldn't do it. He's like, well, Europe and it. Got to think about it. Remove it. What's a good league season for Palace now? What
Top
should you achieve?
Well, top seven is still like the aim, and I think however we could get Europa League football, that would be the aim because we feel like we should have that this season. So that's like the main kind of disappointing thing for us in the summer. But at the moment, watching Palace is kind of it is crazy. Like everything that happens off the pitch, you've got the stuff that people are talking about Glasner at the moment, obviously, because Man United lost the game. You've got people talking about Gay because Konate didn't look so good. So in between games, it's not that fun at the moment supporting Palace because it's just everyone else talking about us. But then the minute the first whistle happens in a match, you get to watch Palace play for 90 minutes and we look brilliant. So,
But that's the most important thing, Rory, is what happens primarily on a Saturday, although as you're going to find out, it's going to be a lot of Sundays. You start in Poland against Dynamo Kiev this week. How big is that to you?
for me, like you mentioned, what would a good league season look like? I haven't actually necessarily thought about it because for me, I want to win the Conference League. And I know maybe that sounds a bit tin pot to like Champions League teams and so on. But for us, it's like winning a UEFA competition when we weren't allowed into the Europa League would be big. And qualifying for the Europa League is the main thing. So I think you could have like Forest's season from last season and finish seventh, right? But if two teams outside the top seven win the domestic cups, you don't get anything for that. So you would have to finish in the Champions League places for it to be better than just winning the Conference League. So for me, it's kind of at the moment it's all on the Conference League. Maybe we'll reevaluate that depending on how it looks in January, February time. Evaluate it in the second half. But I want us to get through this Conference League stage as like a matter of priority, and then.
Do you feel you're capable of finishing top five?
I would instinctively think no, because obviously, like I think if you take out the first 8 games of last season where we were crap and there was sort of justifiable reasons to do with
I remember who turned up to give you a hand and give you a leg up.
Yeah, Dr. Tottenham, where would we be now without you?
Yeah.
That is the question. But if you took that out, we would be top four. But then for us, we've looked relatively good against teams that want to come out and attack us, and that's often good teams. It's more about beating low blocks for us. So that's going to be something we're going to have to learn through the Conference League. Might actually teach us how to do that.
Does that speak volumes in the sense, in your last 2 home games, I predicted you to drop points against Sunderland, but predicted you to beat Liverpool? Is that almost exactly what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Sunderland, there we didn't have Wharton and Sarr as well, but that's obviously something we're going to have to cope with this season anyway in terms of rotation. But yeah, teams that, to be fair, Sunderland, we did have the chances to win the game. We just didn't take them. But yeah, that's going to be an issue for us, and that's why Sunday's going to be a difficult game for us as well, because Sean's mentioned that what they're going to do, but what they're going to do is going to be very frustrating for us in the way that we're set up to play on the counter attack. We're not going to be able to use a lot of our strengths and assets. Set pieces and counter attack isn't necessarily what's going to work against Everton.
How strong do you think you'll go in the Conference League in terms of team selections? I don't just mean for this week, but this Thursday Sunday thing, you'll know it can be a headache for people.
Well, I think for us, if we can win the 3 home games and win 1 away game, you're probably through, aren't you?
Yeah.
So if we can win the game against Kyiv, then you can just try and win the home games. The last home games against a Finnish team, who maybe aren't fantastic. So then it's just really the Alkmaar game that's quite difficult. Larnaca, hopefully we should be able to beat Larnaca. So then the other 2, you maybe rotate. Strasbourg's probably the most difficult game, I think, because they look decent. I watched them against Marseille. They looked all right. So,
you know your favourites to win that Conference League, right? By a distance.
Yeah. But then like Villa didn't win it, did they?
No.
You didn't win it, but you didn't take it very seriously. And I think
we didn't actually get eliminated, but that's a different podcast.
Yeah, so we are like favourites to win it. I think any Premier League team that's in it, I mean, Sunderland, Burnley might be favourites to win it if they were in it. So who knows?
Yeah, no, it is fair. Like an English side in it should do very, very well. I guess where I'm getting at, Rory, is like your concern in terms of rotation and the management of Thursday, Sunday, and whether you think, because we know from the domestic cups last year that Glasner does like to go quite strong. How do you foresee him trying to manage some of, say, these easier games in the Conference League? Do you envisage like a full rotated team?
I don't think so. Maybe in the last game, the Shelbourne game, maybe that will happen. But I think we mostly will try to rotate a few players. So if you take out Kamada and you place him with Hughes, it's not really a downgrade necessarily. And I'd imagine it will be Hughes and Wharton in central midfield. Wharton got taken off after an hour against Liverpool, so there's no real reason to do that unless he's going to play midweek. But he needs to get other players up to speed, like Canvo needs to play games. Sosa will probably play the Conference League. And the other element is, compared to a lot of teams that are in Europe, we have some players who don't make their national team squads. So like Lacroix doesn't make his national team squad. Mitchell, Hughes, Mateta, they don't actually make it their national team squad. So I'd imagine they'll probably play the Conference League games and the league games most of the time because they'll get a rest.
In international breaks.
Yeah. I'll get 2 games off every 6 weeks, essentially. So.
That's fair enough. Yeah, it's unusual that you've got a lot of core first team players that won't play in national football. That's quite unique, that actually in the Premier League these days. You said before we started, Rory, you'd had some stats to cheer Sean up. Go on then.
Yeah, I think Sean knows them by the sounds of it. We've not won away at Everton for 11 years. We've got 2 wins in 24 against them. The last time we beat them, what was it? A corner, an average goal, a lucky goal, and an average goal, or something like that, according to Frank Lampard after the match. So we've not beat them in 9 as well, I think, consecutively. So yeah, they did the double over us last season. They were the last away team to win at Selhurst Park as well, back in February. So yeah, we've not got that good of a record against Everton in recent years, and very much after a Thursday night potentially being droned, I would definitely take a point.
Really? If I said take a point Sunday, you'd be happy with that?
Yeah, probably.
Would you, Sean?
Would I take a point? I would, from the point of view that I think Palace will win.
So I might as well just shake hands and piss off now, right? We're all happy with that.
Good process, lads.
Good process.
Maybe not. But amongst that record, Rory, you've not played at their new stadium, so
not been to the Hilly Dick.
How much should you read into that? Sean, how good is it? I know you've been, have you been to every home game?
I missed the Villa one. I was away. I was in the Lake District, but I've been all the other games. Yeah, I love it. I've been, you can sort of, there's the wall at Bramley-Moore Dock, and they let you through 3 hours before kickoff. And every single game, I've been in there as soon as it opens. Just spent like an hour outside the stadium and then get inside as soon as they open the turnstiles. But it's fantastic. It really is. I can't imagine anyone will go there this season and be negative about it in terms of what it's like as a stadium. The atmosphere sometimes isn't very good, but that's a Evertonians thing.
I don't think it is. I think it's a consequence for everybody who's moved stadium, Sean.
And it's just like, I mean, it's just, if at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your stadium is. If you sit there not really making any noise, then there's not going to be an atmosphere. But it's very loud when fans, home or away, get going. It really is very, very well done. It is a very loud stadium.
My team's the next to visit yours after Palace. I'm very much looking forward to the trip. As I was recently, what would be my favourite away ground in the country, and I suspect I might be leaving yours thinking it's yours because it looks so steep as well.
Yeah.
You've not gone for size. You've gone for something that holds a kind of, I think Seb Hutchinson said it on commentary last night, it's kind of held the feel of Everton, the steepness of the stands, the closeness to the pitch, etc. Yeah, I think it looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to going. It feels like home.
Yeah, very much. It's very, very different, but yeah, it does feel like home. There's lots of detail in and around the stadium. There's lots to look at on the outside. Where the stones are. There's I can't remember the number, but there's a lot of fan stones been put down. It spells out Everton. It's got old legend players that have got their own sort of stone plaques on the floor. So there's lots to see down that behind the South Stand. So there's lots to see down there. And then there's a Everton fan wall where they've got mosaics made up of fans' photographs of sort of classic Everton players. And that's really good to go and have a look at. And then there's just lots of heritage because it obviously used to be a dock. There's still lots of the old dock been kept in place there. So even like the posts for the signs are the sort of the original dock posts. So I think it's very, very impressive. And I think, like I say, a lot of visiting fans will enjoy coming and having a look.
Rory, if you could do something with your shit, so it would be much appreciated. Thank you, mate.
Nah.
You're probably both, and we spoke about your team, Sean, in terms of like understanding the first 11, but it's kind of the same with you as well, Rory, right?
Pretty
Near
much.
enough. Little things like you said, like Hughes, Kamada, kind of depend on what he wants to do, if he wants to run it from midfield or not.
And I'm
But
hoping that it changes, to be fair, that it isn't always, because with Europe it will have to be. But I want to see people like Nketiah's got that goal there, and if he can get confident, but like we were saying, maybe we struggle to break down low blocks. Well, maybe a solution is for Nketiah to pop up in the tens if we're playing against a low block team, because he can find those little spaces in the box, turn a half chance into a chance, kind of.
would it probably be fair, though, Rory, that perhaps unlike the other teams in Europe where we've already kind of seen some rotation in the Premier League, that your, let's say, premium players will play the Premier League? Like, I don't envisage a scenario here where Mateta's getting rested for Europe or Sarr's getting rested for Europe or any of the back five, bar maybe Mitchell Souza, as you said.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, with the back five, it depends on what happens with JD Convo, and maybe Charlie Riyad might come back at some point soon. Also, Lerma's played
Can
centre
fill
back
up.
for us before, and he's done well there as well. He played in the cup final there for the last 40 minutes or so. So we can rotate in there. I think we'll have to at some point. But yeah, the the one that I'm worried most about is Munoz, because I saw he's covered the most ground in terms of miles run and also has the second most sprints in the league. So he probably will need a rest at some point.
Europe, innit?
Well, yeah, but then who plays? Nathaniel Klein, 35-year-old Nathaniel Klein is the right wing back.
I'm sure in some of them Conference League games she'll get away with it, mate. But also, he's an absolute machine, Rory.
Yeah,
He
he is.
looks like the sort of player who just can keep playing. Have you ever looked at him and thought, oh, he looks shattered today? Or
Well, no, he's fit as a butcher's dog, isn't he? He's got like that kind of, he looks like if you didn't play him, he would just go and run a 10K instead. So,
yeah, brilliant player. Sean, one of my questions for you was going to be if I should start Dewsbury Hall this week or not in my FPL team, but I don't need to worry about that, do
Uh, don't get me fucking started.
I? I mean, he's been booked in 5 consecutive games. It should be said, the yellow card that he picked up against West Ham is an absolute nonsense.
It's not even. I mean, it's not even a foul. But if you want to give a foul, then give a foul. But fucking hell, it's never a booking in a million years. Like the free kick at Anfield. I saw before. Apparently, he played close to 100 games, and he's got 9 yellow cards before signing for Everton. So this is why people like me feel like we get refereed differently.
He
well, how
proper
Just
did,
threw his toys out the pram as well. It was quite. I mean, I wasn't thinking, "Oh shit, you're suspended." I was laughing at him.
yeah, the reaction from him and Grealish was really fun.
how did Tarkowski stay on the pitch though? He should have got a second yellow. Would have left him out of the Palace match, definitely.
I'm just going to leave you two to it. Put it right.
What was that for?
Well, he got one in the first half and then he did something else like a couple of seconds later. But I just wanted him out of the Palace game, Sean, to be
I
honest.
don't even remember that.
Yeah, it's coming out now. What goes in for Dewsbury Hall Sunday, Sean?
I would imagine it'll be Charlie Alcaraz.
Okay, so not maybe like Dibbling on the right and Die in the 10 role, maybe.
No, he doesn't seem to. It's like kind of that's what a lot of fans want to see, but he just doesn't seem to want to do it. The other fella, Dice, didn't ever want to play him as a 10. I want to see it because that's where Tomo told me. You know, he's he was a striker or the number 10 for Sheffield United, and we don't play him in either of those roles. Which I think sometimes might annoy and die because there are periods of games where he seems really pissed off. But yeah, I think it'll be Alcaraz, but I really don't know. He doesn't seem to have any faith in anyone outside of the starting 11 at the minute, the manager. So
Hmm.
it's hard to
Okay.
get a read on it.
What would you say to Dewsbury Hall owners? Is it just a hold? I guess there's not too many places to go, but there are others at his price, likes of Xhaka, Tyler Adams. They are performing quite well for Defcons. With Dewsbury Hall, you are relying more on the attacking data. Would you move
Yeah,
him on, do you think, or keep?
yeah. Well, I did. I used the wild card and I did move him on, um, partly because of the yellow card situation, but also don't think he's gonna quite have the end product that you need from an FPL player.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
agreed. It probably wouldn't be my choice if I was on wild card. I
Yeah.
mean, certainly not at this stage on suspension, but I'm also not fussed to be dealing with it. Obviously, you'll come back from suspension, you go to Manchester City, then there's Sunderland, there's Fulham, United, Newcastle, Bournemouth. It's kind of some indifferent fixtures there where you could kind of take it or leave it, whether you use him or not. A lot of people gambled and die went wild card last week though, Sean. You'd probably be a bit frustrated with what they watched Monday night. Any concern, or would you have just not gone there in the first place?
Well, I've got him, but I'm kind
Yeah,
of already
the answer
regretting it.
is yes, you would have, and yes, I
Yeah, yeah,
regret
exactly.
it.
I can see what. Well, it's just the appeal, isn't it? The fact that he can get DEFCON points.
Yeah,
He's the penalty taker. He can score goals. He's going to play. My concern about minutes has gone away because Moyes has changed from liking to make substitutions last season to reluctant to make them this season, which is weird. But from an Ndiaye owner's point of view, that's obviously another positive. So yeah, I went with him. I was on and on in between him and Kudus, but I just saw a few more routes to points. But yeah, I'm already sort of second guessing whether I should maybe have gone or
I
go.
fully agree with the pick over Kudos, by the way, and I also get the appeal of probably when you made the selection, you're looking at this fixture, particularly in six against West Ham. I think that looks great. It's not the way it's worked out. You hold now, do you think, Sean, or are you looking to get up to like an Arsenal asset or something like that?
Um, I don't think so. I've got Gabriel, I've got Raya, so I'm happy with those two. I'm not fully I wasn't fully on board with Gokeres. I don't particularly not really impressed from what I've seen, and I think that could be something that I'm sure he'll get some goals in the next few games, but I don't know. He doesn't seem. I'm more impressed when I watch Mateta play for Palace. Saka again. I think he's a lot of money if he's not going to take penalties. So I don't think. I think I'll just keep with the two Arsenal assets. To be honest,
Yeah, if you know Sean as well as I know Sean, that means Arsenal are going off massive this
yeah,
weekend. Now,
yeah, yeah.
you could, of course, save some money by selling Iliman Ndiaye if you want. 0.1 cheaper, Rory. Ismaila Sarr is back with a goal at the weekend. Um, I feel unlucky that he got injured because he'd certainly still be sitting in my team.
Yeah, I'm on free hit this week, and I think have him.
On
But
free hit, that's interesting.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he is possibly more of a hold, and maybe Everton doesn't necessarily suit us. So maybe he's more of a wild card pick if you're a wild card in this week. But he can score headers from set pieces. He's big and physical, and obviously Ndiaye is his kind of rival for the position, I guess, at international level as well, or one of his rivals. So maybe that'll be in his mind. I saw he's like second for not non-penalty expected goals and expected assisted goals per 90.
He has had some huge chances
Ye-
of rather than a volume, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I like Sarr. I think he had good stats last season as well, and he's always in those positions. And perhaps, I mean, Sean said Mateta. I mean, Mateta could have had a hat trick against Liverpool, but they were all kind of like eye-catching chances. Whereas maybe Sarr is getting the kind of tap-ins inside the 6 yard box, which maybe more consistent. But yeah, both of those can score.
Okay. Sean, if you were going in new and dial Sar,
I'd say Shaw, even though he hasn't got pens. They're a better team. I think Shaw will get more goals, more assists.
I take it you agree with that, Rory.
Yeah, possibly. I was very impressed with his pen in the Community Shield. Obviously, Mateta probably has pens, but last season it was Eze and Mateta who had them. But Sarr, I mean, if Mateta wasn't on the pitch, he might get them. I'd imagine if Mateta's not on the pitch, though, Nketiah would be on the pitch and he'd probably take it. So I don't want to make anyone think that Sarr is on pens, but he has got a good pen in him if he needs.
I can go Dewsbury Hall to Sar in one move.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a no-brainer.
There's a big problem with that, Sean. It's called no Arsenal.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
who are you gonna get? Declan Rice.
But Murillo to Gabriel is what's on the plan, mate.
probably should do that. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you for
yeah, yeah. Gotta have
for my
Gabriel.
confirmation bias, Rory. Thank you. It
Well,
sounded good till I dropped the other option,
Yeah.
basically.
yeah, well, they're against the team that concedes headers every week. I mean, Keane scored last night, or last night at the time of recording. He scored like they concede a header every week, don't they?
Yeah, thanks for reminding Suj. With Michael Keane, Sean, do you automatically come out the team when Branthwaite's fit? Is that what it'll be?
Yeah, he will do. It's very unfortunate because he's probably been our best player this season. He hasn't really put a foot wrong. Been excellent, really, really good.
Is there any chance for Branthwaite at left back so that he stays in?
I can, I can't. No, not if I mean if Mikalenko was injured, yeah. But now he's come back in. No, I think they'll just get Branthwaite to fitness, and then he'll be back in. He offers a lot more on the ball. His passing range is a lot better, and he can cover the ground a lot better. It means we're more secure on transitions. So he will be back in. But Michael Keane's done a really, really good job of filling in.
Yeah, he has done all right, actually. I take it people should not chase his 11 points, therefore.
No, I'm really disappointed because I had him in at the start of the season because he never seems to go too many games without scoring. So I just thought he was a perfect 4.5 million defender to have. I thought he'll be good on DEFCONs. And the goal threat is far higher than Tarkowski. So I thought to be a bit clever there, and it never quite panned out. The goal come a little bit too late. I mean, against Aston Villa, he was by far and away our
Yeah,
biggest
he
threat.
had three chances, didn't he?
Yeah. But that's just me being a Jonah. So
As
I
a
knew it's
consequence, could Tarkovsky be a bigger threat from set plays once Branthwaite's back? Is there a
no,
consequence there of that? Maybe.
no, he does. He just doesn't seem to be. He doesn't seem to be the focal point of set pieces, even when Branthwaite's um, in the team. So I, no, I went with Van Dijk. I just thought, well, for the difference in the money, we're going to get a few more clean sheets probably out of Van Dijk. He'll get DEFCON as well at times, and he's a much bigger goal threat. So
What have you had?
it,
One clean sheet, is it, Sean? Am I right in
I
saying
think
that
we've
this
had a,
season?
I think we've had a couple, haven't we?
Brighton. Oh,
Villa,
and Villa at home. Sorry, you're quite right.
Villa.
So, I mean, Tarkovsky really, for most people like me who have not owned, has looked like a bit of a no-brainer, really, in terms of, right, I'm probably going to have to go there. Last Monday night was the first time he hadn't hit DEFCON. As notable as well that it was Ndiaye's lowest DEFCON total as well. So I think there's a West Ham element to that. Look at Moises Caicedo's DEFCON returns this season. He's circa about 20th for defensive returns this season. That feels surprising when he's picked up DEFCON 5 in 6 and you've had two clean sheets. So it makes you think for him to get towards the top of that list, what has he got to do? With actually score some goals, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and he doesn't historically get goals. I think he got one last season and maybe one the season before that. Do you know what I mean? He's not. I mean, the one he got last year, obviously, we probably all remember that. So that wasn't a goal from a corner.
Sticks in the mind that as well, doesn't it? I was just looking at his previous seasons. Yeah, all of the last 5 seasons, he scored one.
One, yeah. So
Mm.
I just think you either go up to a Van Dijk or a Gabriel, or you go down to probably a Crystal Palace centre back.
Good segue. I'll get there in a second. But just answer, Sean, do you think Tarkovsky therefore is overpriced?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. So if you owned him, you'd be thinking about selling? Like if you could go, for example, Tarkovsky to Gabriel this
Yeah.
way, you getting it done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rory, which one of these brilliant Crystal Palace defensive assets is best then? No pressure.
Well, the overpriced ones. So you got Lacroix at 5.1 and Munoz at 5.6. I'm sure they must have gone up in their cost. Gay's been the target recently, but he's gone up 0.3 already. He scored quite a few points. He seems to be the target from set pieces at the moment, but they change it. So last season it was Lacroix. Lacroix should have scored against West Ham. He hit the bar. But you've got to change the person that you're targeting, otherwise the defensive team knows what you're going to do at set pieces. So you've got to refresh it every so often. So I guess from that point, not Mitchell. Richards is the one that they haven't targeted yet as a centre back. The advantage of Mitchell and Lacroix, I would say those two, is they don't play international football, so they're probably more nailed. So
Gay's never going to get left out for a Premier League game, mate. Never.
no, he's captain. I mean, look, if we lost to say RZ and Strasbourg, he could get left out of a Premier League game before the Conference League games. Or maybe that Burnley game that we've got is a midweek game after I think we've got Conference League and then Man City away. So the Burnley game maybe could get rotation in at some point there.
That's game week 14, which is a midweek set of fixtures.
So that's a thing if you think, I mean, you're wildcarding around 13, aren't you? And then people are wildcarding now and bringing in Gay. That's a consideration. But yeah, Gay and Lacroix. Mitchell's got maybe a threat from Sosa, depending on how Sosa does in the Conference League. If he looked very good, and Mitchell needed a break, but he hasn't been called up for England historically. I'm wondering if that might change if we keep looking good. Maybe Tuchel will have a look at him. Don't know. So overall, I would say I am still getting Munoz in, but I'm an optimist. I would say probably the one that makes sense financially is Richards because he's got to start scoring headers at some point. He's so good defensively in the air.
But that's the one really that does feel the least secure, i.e., for a trip like Burnley in game week
Yeah.
14. You think, could he, particularly if I know it's not Riyad's side, but you can shove Gay to the other side, right? It does feel like Richards would be in moving forward in the future, the most prone to get left out, I would say.
Yeah, I mean that's where JD Convo played in the League Cup game against Millwall, played right-sided centre half. So yeah, possibly the most likely. And he also travels with the US, and he's going to take international football very seriously now because they obviously are hosting it. So and he's captain the side. So
All
perhaps.
five of those Palace players have got more FPL points than Tarkowski. There's only been one more clean sheet.
And the lowest is the most expensive one, which is Munoz. But we've had more
And
difficult
they've
fixtures.
all had bits of DEFCON without the consistency of DEFCON of Tarkowski.
So what was your point where everyone's
Well, my
overrating
point is that I
DEFCON?
think all five of them are viable. I
They
don't know
probably
if I've
are.
ever known that before in a team where it's like there's five defenders and you could make a case for all of them.
So then I guess that can you make a case for Henderson? Probably
Of course you
not.
can.
So the back six, so there's a case
Yeah.
for all of them, I guess. I mean, we're going into the next three are rough, aren't they? I mean, I think you've kind of highlighted that as being a bit tricky, but then from 10, you think we've got a good run. So
You said obviously we debated it in correspondent week. You said you thought the run kind of started from 4. I said from 10.
yeah,
You've obviously you're still doing very, very well. I mean, yes, okay, the next games have challenges, but I don't think Everton and Bournemouth should particularly scare you at the moment. Arsenal away is obviously the toughest in 9. Then there's a good run. But I guess in any case, particularly if you're going for the likes of Richards as an example, you're probably not starting him at Arsenal in 9.
yeah,
It's probably a rotation for you. And you could leave out the others if you want to as well.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we're actually at the stage with some of these guys, like Munoz, even away to Arsenal. I don't know how comfortable I'd be leaving him out.
Yeah, yeah. It depends if they
Whereas
played.
if Tarkowski was at Arsenal, I don't think I'd think twice about leaving him out. I'd think, yeah, he'll get DEFCON, but he's probably a 2 or 3 pointer, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can in those big games be very, very negative and could. I'm not saying we could keep a clean sheet away at Arsenal, but we can definitely stink out a game and make it a very boring game.
So which one for you?
Currently, I've got Munoz in my free hit, and I think I'll probably have him on wild card, but that's because I enjoy watching him run up and down.
Okay.
Maybe Gay if you're wild carding them would be the average person, like non-Palace fan pick.
Are you expecting him to stay in January? I know that's miles off, but people wildcarding now won't get a wildcard again in January.
Well, I think it depends on how our season's going. Because if, let's say, hypothetically, it's difficult to say that we're 6 games in, but if we were in a Champions League position, I think he'd have to stay. Because if you think about the whole thing with Zaha, the reason we didn't sell him was the cost of going down. But then what's the cost of not getting Champions League?
Yeah.
So, but if we're in the Europa League positions, then we can probably win the Conference League without Gay. So,
Okay.
so it
If
really
someone
does.
else on wildcard now, would it one of Mateta or Sarr? Got a preference?
Um, mm, just get both.
What a bottle job.
I'd say Sar. Sar's gonna do bits. I think without Eze in the team, he's got to return a lot more.
Yeah, it feels like you could pick 3 other good forwards at the moment. Picking 5 other midfielders is beginning to feel more difficult at this moment. That's
The
kind
one
of how
that
it feels.
maybe went a little bit under the radar there is Pino. And I was looking at the expected goals and assists. He's fourth behind, per 90 stats, behind Haaland, Sarr and the Willian Esteval. And then it's him, and he's like ahead of Doku for expected goals and assists per 90. So he should have scored. I think when he returns, he will possibly become because he's trying too hard. Like the one that Allison got back to save, he's put it about 3 feet inside the post when really he should just stick it in the corner because he's trying to make sure that the shot's on target. But if he scores one, then maybe he'll go into chances like that with a bit more confidence and stick it in the corner.
It feels like, without knowing the historical of potential rotation around Europe and stuff, though, as well,
Yeah.
that you would pay the 0.5 extra for Sarr, I think, over Pino.
Yeah, possibly. And that's the side that if Nketiah did come in, he could play there more than
Yeah,
on the
okay.
right.
Sean, you got any Palace at the moment?
No,
Wanting to do anything about it because they're playing your team this weekend? Go on, say no.
no, I'm not gonna. I'm not doing. I'm
Good
not gonna
lad.
make any changes this weekend, man.
Thoughts on Grealish?
He's a wonderful, wonderful footballer. Not completely sure he's what we needed. In all honesty, but he's made my youngest son very happy, who is taking the credit because he loaned him on FIFA. Well, the equivalent of FIFA. So he done that months ago. And all summer he was like, "Do you think we could sign Jack Grealish?" I was like, "Don't be stupid." and
Been
then
saying
and
for
then
about a year that I thought it would be the right
yeah,
move for everybody.
yeah,
Deitch was saying that you tried in January
yeah,
for
yeah,
him.
Ah.
yeah. Good old Sean Dyche.
Are we missing something here with James Garner? I know he limped off and he might have picked up a problem, unfortunately, towards the end of that game with West Ham. That would be a real blow if you lose him on top of
Yeah, yeah.
Shrewsbury Hall as well. But if Parr's fit, Sean, should we be looking at him at 5.0? Seems to be on a lot of the set plays, 2 attacking
Yeah,
returns so far. And the DEFCON stuff is good as well, right? 73 DEFCONs across the 6 games is more than your average of 12. He's hit it 3 times. 9 against West Ham, but again, we said other than Michael Keane, you were a bit shorter everywhere for DEFCONs in that game Monday night. Should we be looking at Garner here, Sean?
yeah. I sort of mentioned in the Slack channel I was having a chat with somebody, and I said that if if I didn't have Ndiaye in my team, um, and I wanted an Everton player, James Garner, of 5 million, considering everyone's talking about Stack, and Granit Xhaka, can't really think of any other viable options. I feel like I'd have James Garner over them every day of the week.
No love for better at 5.4. I take it.
No,
Pickford.
no, he's overpriced. He's just overpriced, isn't he? I think 5.5 million.
They had to do
So
it though. I think.
we spoke about this in the summer, didn't we? Sort of took him out the game, but you understand why.
Yeah, I do. Okay, gents, thank you both very much. Let's do correct score predictions for Sunday, Sean.
I think Palace will win. I think they'll win. Sadly, I think we won't be able to break them down, and they'll get us on the counter attack. I think it'll be 2-0.
Rory,
I'm not optimistic about it, but
good this. I mean, if you can't be optimistic now, Rory, when can you be?
yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, I'll agree. I'll go 2-0.
It's gone from not sure to winning by 2. I love it. Rory, particular good luck to you in the Conference League, mate. I think most neutrals hope that you do really, really well in that competition this year because you should have been in another competition as well. So go and win it, mate. Don't do too well in the Premier League, though. Don't get ahead of yourselves. If you get Champions League football, I do expect to do stadium within a couple of years. Thank you. Sean, anything you want to plug before we finish, mate?
No, just Spirit_Blues on X. That's it, really.
Can I just say, I think Spirit of the Blues has become one of my favourite neutral songs. I'd never heard you really sing it till the last few years. I don't know if I only became aware of it because of your handle, but it's a cracking song.
Good, innit? Yeah, it's good.
Rory, anything for you, mate?
Well, we won't get ahead of ourselves, James, but we'll just get ahead of you. So,
I think you've already achieved that, mate. Don't be relying on my team going back above you on Saturday. I can tell you that for nothing. Although I should say we are pre-recording Tuesday, so I might feel different after the game in Bodo, which when you listen to this would have been last night. Next week's clash of correspondence is Brighton and Hove Albion. Rory says boo versus Newcastle United with Sam Murray and Simon Bibby. Join me and Sudge will be standing for the weekender on Friday. I can't remember what's in the schedule on Thursday, so I'm just going to pass it over and say, Sean, Rory, best of luck for the weekend, gents. Be nice to each other, everyone. Cue music, please, man child.